The Golden State Warriors have gone from one of the best teams in basketball early in the season to losing to one of the worst teams in basketball in the Toronto Raptors, who sit at 9-31 and are now 12th place in the Western Conference. And early in the season, people were wondering if this constructed roster of Golden State could actually contend for a deep playoff run, and it really looked as if they could because Curry was playing really well. Jonathan Kuminga was stepping up. Buddy Hield was playing the best basketball we've seen him play in a while. Andrew Wiggins seemed to be breaking out of the slump. And even Draymond Green seemed to be shooting the basketball better than he had been in the past few seasons. But ever since that hot start, where they were actually in first place in the entire Western Conference a few weeks into the season, they have fallen off a cliff. And now these same players who were playing so well to start the season have fallen off, and Buddy Hield went from averaging around 20 points a game for the first 3 weeks of the season to now averaging 12.4 points per game on 42% shooting and 38% from three, which is still good numbers for him. But if the Warriors were going to contend for a deep playoff run and an actual playoff spot, Buddy Hield was going to have to step up even more. And while Andrew Wiggins is still averaging 16.4 points per game on good shooting splits, and Kuminga has really come alive as this team's second option at 16.8 points per game, this team just doesn't have a direction, and they're extremely inconsistent as well, because they'll win a couple games and it looks as if they're back and they'll beat a top team, but then they'll do what they did tonight and they'll go and lose to a terrible team in the Toronto Raptors. And yes, they were both out Draymond Green, but that's no excuse to lose to a Toronto Raptors team that had won 8 games before this and honestly is one of the worst teams in the NBA. And Scotty Barnes put up 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists, and Jakob Poeltl had 13 points and 13 rebounds on this team. And Golden State just doesn't have the depth around Steph Curry, and Steph Curry isn't able to carry this team to wins as he was once able to. And he's still averaging 22 points a game on good shooting splits, and I would still consider him to be a superstar in the NBA. But at a certain point, this team just doesn't have what it takes to make a deep playoff run, and we've seen that throughout the past month or so. And it's really sad because you have to wonder, will Steph Curry ever get a chance to compete again in his NBA career? Because he's already 36 years old and he maybe only has 2 to 3 seasons left of high-level basketball. And if the Warriors are going into a rebuild right now, they don't have time to rebuild around Steph Curry or retool around Steph Curry unless they make some major moves during the season or next offseason. And it's time to ask the question of whether the Golden State Warriors should trade Steph Curry to give him a chance to compete and to honestly allow themselves to not be in this purgatory that they're in right now. Because with Steph Curry, they're not going to be bad enough to get a high draft pick, but they're not going to be good enough to really compete because the roster construction around Steph Curry. So they're sitting in a very weird middle section of the NBA right now that is definitely not ideal for a rebuilding team to be in. So if they trade Steph Curry, they will get picks back and Curry will get a chance to maybe not retire as a Warrior and as a one-team guy, but at least compete for that 5th championship that we all know he wants so badly. And it will be kind of crazy to see Steph Curry pass LeBron in rings throughout their careers. And with Curry being arguably the best point guard of all time, I do think that he deserves a chance to go and try to win another championship before the end of his career. And honestly, it's the best decision for the Golden State Warriors as well, as their time of contention is clearly over, sitting at 12th in the Western Conference. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, but God bless you all. Have an amazing day, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. God bless.